Just wanted to go over the idea of why Rocket Raccoon really survived the Infinity Saga. I mentioned it before in some other videos, but I'll just clarify it in this one. So Rocket Raccoon is a play on the idea of Sirius the Dog Star. And Sirius the Dog Star in most films, games, comics, books, movies, whatever, represent a kind of catalyst to bring in the underworld, time travel, portal jumping, or any type of teleportation. And sometimes you'll see a Sirius Dog Star character paired with another person. Sometimes the story will be strictly about the Sirius Dog Star character. But that's what's encoded in the story of Rocket Raccoon and why he survived. Now, Rocket Raccoon is a unique one because he's referred to as a bunch of different animals. And in this story, he represents the Sirius Dog Star character. But in other stories, he may represent something differently. He's what I like to call a rabbit, and in fact, he's referred to as a rabbit sometimes. And a rabbit is a zodiacal position or a position of the sun. But when it's a character playing a rabbit, they can often change a lot, where they can become other characters or other different positions, where they might represent this or be something else as a different character in a different show. And an easy way to identify these kind of characters is in their outfits. A lot of times they'll have the same outfit on. Like Mickey Mouse has the same outfit as Roger Rabbit, as Mario, as Eggman, who was Dr. Robotnik at first, a turtle, but then later on changed to Eggman, which is a play on the rabbit idea, and he has the same outfit on. But another easy way to figure out these characters is in their name. Their first initial and their first name, last name will usually have the same first initial. Like we see this in a Mario or a Roger Rabbit, or in a Kamala Khan, or in and this just goes on and on, in a Kamala Khan, or in a Miles Morales, or a Peter Parker. And this is the idea with Rocket Raccoon. He's a rabbit, but he's also referred to as a dog, a raccoon, some other names of animals. But in the Infinity Saga, he specifically represents Sirius Dog Star. Him alongside Nebula is a play on the Sirius dog and the star. And they're both sad because of the passing of their friends or their loss. He's not a normal Rocket Raccoon behavior. He's more serious in this. But eventually he helps the Avengers open a portal, and he also helps them go through the firmament to go through space. And this goes back and forth, where then Nebula allows Thanos to come back, because they're both a representation combined of Sirius the Dog Star in this film. There's even a scene where Tony Stark refers to him as Ratchet, which is a play on a video game character named Ratchet, who's a play on the Sirius Dog Star idea. Ratchet, like Tails from Sonic, are two dogs that jump through portals. And this goes on and on. They're also mechanic-like dogs. They're tinkering dogs where they work on things. Same thing with Star Fox. And he goes through portals as well. This is why when you understand these concepts, you can start to see through movies or expect and anticipate movies on a deeper level. Same thing with games, comics, and so forth, on a different level than other people. This is where the idea of seriousness comes from. Are you serious? Because if you and someone are having a conversation and the paradigm changes where they're more serious or angry, you can ask, are they serious? Which is, are you of the Sirius Dog Star realm? And most people don't get that's what's being asked. When you're asking a random machine in your home for information and it's giving you awkward answers, you're saying, hey Siri, what's the weather? And then Siri gives you whatever underworld answer it wants to give you. That's where that comes from. So what happens at the end of the Infinity Saga is all of the people are snapped back, where all the moon-based characters come back, right? And then you have, jumping from the ground, the rabbit, right? The rabbit jumps out of the hole, which is Sirius Dog Star, or Rocket Raccoon, with War Machine, with his new armor on. But then also Giant Man resolves and goes back to his Giant Man idea. And that's what happens in this film, and that's the reason why Rocket Raccoon was allowed to survive. Lastly, I'll point out that his outfit changed in this film, right? He goes to New Asgard with Hulk, right? To try to bring back Thor. And then he also travels with Thor with this new outfit on. And if you pay attention to his outfit, he has a red handkerchief on. And this is often seen in a lot of characters who represent travelers. They might have red shoes on or a red handkerchief. You see it in Bishop from the X-Men, Trunks and Dragon Ball Z, specifically when Trunks becomes a Time Patrol character. And this goes on and on. This is not a hard thing to see. It's just that characters all represent the same thing, where they're playing out constellations or characters that represent the sky. And we get the idea of constellations. You're talking about something that's constant. So these stories resonate with you because they're real, right? Even though the perspective that you're seeing in is not real, this is really what's playing out if you monitor and just watch the activity of the sky. I mean, this is where you also get the idea of dogfights when we talk about planes or the military or jets or even spacecrafts in movies fighting in the sky, having an all-out dogfight. It's a play on the Sirius dog star, because when you're watching it from far away, the blowing up of ships and all the explosions, it looks like a star in the sky, right? Or so you get the concept of Sirius dog star. And this is why Rocket Raccoon specifically is chosen in, I think, all the films that he's in to kind of like lead the space battles, where he's the one dodging and weaving, kind of like the Han Solo, so to say, of the space battles. Another interesting interaction we get is the interaction not necessarily seen inside of this film, but there was one Marvel movie where we had Rocket Raccoon run into or see Cosmo, which is the space dog that is at the collector's lair. And this happens in the comic books a couple times. And there's a play that both of these characters are Sirius the dog star, where they have tension or agreements or even work together sometimes. That's kind of seen and shown. And there's even one storyline where Howard the Duck, which is a traveler, right? He's a traveler, like kind of like a rabbit type character who goes in and out of realities. There's even a live action movie featuring him. And believe it or not, well, not by coincidence, he's paired with the actress who plays Lorraine in Back to the Future, Marty McFly's, who's a rabbit character as well. His interests in that story, or his mother, I believe. But these kind of things go back and forth because they're all pointing to the same idea, the Sirius dog star. And in Back to the Future, there was also the Sirius dog star, Einstein, who traveled through the future first to make sure that it was okay before Marty could start traveling. And you see where these ideas come from. Then there's also the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy series who's made it known that he's really interested in raccoons. He came to a premiere with a raccoon. You even see Chris Pratt with a raccoon. They even mourn the so-called raccoon that inspired or that was used as an inspiration for Rocket Raccoon. And surprisingly, this raccoon, this real-life raccoon's name is Oreo, which is a play on the idea of Orion. And just to think if you think these concepts aren't important, just look at the food that you're eating and what they're named after. They're named after constellations, or they usually might have a symbol referencing to the sun on it as well. And a lot of these foods are not foods that come from the sun. They're not grown foods, but they're playing on these ideas of constellations and the stars to make your food. But yeah, so we have, and then this director, James Gunn, he in another movie he made recently, the Suicide Squad movie, he has like a dog rat / character that's also considered like a dog. And then that movie is about a big giant blue star attacking. So you can see that this concept is influencing a lot of movies, and a lot of activities in movies, and sometimes it's done in a subtle way. So I'll make a separate video at some point on the idea of Sirius Dog Star, a little bit more in depth, and also to include the idea of the rabbits and how they're interchanged. Sometimes a character will be a rabbit, like for instance, Sonic is a character who's a rabbit. His original design was a rabbit. They just call him a hedgehog. And then when Tails comes along, he gets demoted from rabbit to a different type of character. In that game, he becomes Supersonic, which is the sun. And then Eggman becomes the rabbit. But then Tails is also a traveler now. He's the play on the Sirius Dog Star. And this goes on and on. Star Fox, you see Star Fox, and right next to him is the rabbit. It goes on, and same thing. Remember, Marty McFly is a rabbit, and he has the same idea as these characters, where he's a traveler, but he has his dog with him. And this goes on and on. And a lot of these characters will also have the same kind of cue in their outfit that lets you know that they're a traveler. They might have a red shoe, a red scarf, even a red nose like Rudolph. And this goes on and on. I can demonstrate that in separate videos as well. But things that you should think about when you're thinking about if a character is a Sirius dog star, or if you should start looking for a dog star character, is if the film is a serious film where something supernatural is happening, I would look to see if there's a dog involved. Definitely with portals, time traveling, any type of interdimensional travel or post-apocalyptic world like Mad Max, the character is probably going to be with a dog. And this is to let you know that reality has changed or the paradigm has shifted. But consider that the idea of the dog is really just kind of used as a way to let you know that it's a doggy door, so to say, into another realm or reality, and this is the concept of an actual doggy door. You can go inside of a house. The dog can bypass the opening of a door to get inside of the house. And while it might seem just like a practical thing, it all really comes from this idea of Sirius the dog star. So to sum up the idea that Rocket Raccoon is really just a play on the Sirius Dog Star character, just pay attention to all the films that we see him in so far. There's always a lot of unique lights on him, especially of like the blue color, right? But he's paired with Groot, who's a play on the moon. Groot is a word that means moon, grow. It all comes from the idea of growth hormones or the growing moon. This is why whenever you see a super moon, you're going to see something Titanic-like involved, just to give you a hint, right? Because these are all play on the same ideas of the supermoon. But he is also paired with Star-Lord, which is a play on the sun, and next to each other they form the Dog Star. And the same thing with him and Nebula, they form Sirius Dog Star. And this goes on and on, right? But let's just think about why he's important, and let's just sum up why he's important in Endgame. He helps, or the Infinity Saga, he helps the Avengers open a portal when Thor is first lost in space. He helps Thor get the eye, then he helps Thor awaken a dying star, right? And they were trying to kill Thanos, which is a play on the supermoon or the Titan. The suns need to kill the moon, right? The trinity of suns, Cap America, Iron Man, and Thor need to kill the moon, right? And he needs a weapon that can kill the moon. So Groot chops his arm off, and Groot, being a part of the moon or of the moon, helps him build an axe forged inside of a dying star. And this concept goes on and on, where you have the supermoon, the Titan, Thanos, right, versus a tiny star, Anthony Stark. And that's what the story is really about, really play on that idea. But then they go to a planet, or they go to a dead star, and they find a giant there who's actually a dwarf, because it's all play on the same idea, right? And then they help, Rocket Raccoon helps him awaken a dying star. He gets swung by the tail of his ship, like Tails from Sonic, right? He helps him awaken a star. And then when Thor comes to Earth, remember, Thor doesn't have the power to teleport. He usually needs that guy Heimdall, who was killed by Thanos. But now he's with the new weapon and powered by Sirius Dog Star, able to teleport to Earth, and on his shoulder is the rabbit, or Sirius Dog Star. And this is the same kind of concept of why Pikachu's on Ash's shoulder. This is a concept when you see in movies them pinning bunny ears behind people, because it's a slick way, a subtle way of letting you know that this character represents Sirius the Dog Star. But on top of that, he helps the Avengers open a portal in Endgame, and then he helps them break the firmament and go to space, and then he helps Tony Stark build the Infinity Gauntlet, the Earthly Infinity Gauntlet, and then lastly, he's the last person shown after all the heroes return from the portal to cue a nod off that he is the portal opener.